Hi, this is Rob McAdams. This is the first of a series of short videos on the SIEM and SYSLOG forwarding tool for the AS400 platform. This first session is focused on the configuration or setup needed to start sending your AS400 event logs to your SIEM or SYSLOG server. As you will see, this will only take a few minutes to set up. For those not already aware, this tool converts any AS400 event log source into CIF format with key value pairs data association, so your event log management tool can automatically parse the IBM logs and then it forwards them. By log source, I mean the different logs that are on the AS400. For this demonstration, I'll be focusing on the System Security Journal or Q Audit Journal. This data source is what every company wants to set. The first step is to define the destination information. You're going to need the IP address, the server port. You'll need to know the connection type. We support TCP, UDP, and TCP over SSL. And the message format. 99 times out of 100, this is going to be CEF for most tools, whether it be SIEM or SYSLOG. We also support CEF detailed, so it's not going to send just important events like the CEF does. It'll send everything in the event details. The next step is what logs we're going to forward. By default, the data provider will send all event logs for every user and for every data source. For the System Security Journal, that means anything you've defined in your security policy will be sent. Those familiar with Q Audit Journal realize this is probably overkill and not the best approach for many reasons, but do have a lot of companies still using it. If this is the same for you, you can jump to the next step. But for right now, I'm going to show you how to select only specific events because we have the ability to send logs that meet your specific selection criteria, such as maybe users, user groups, or other specifics found log event, like specific action groups, action types, similar available fields seen in event details. Suppressing unwanted noise that System Security Journal generates has many benefits. For one, it puts less stress on your system resources and will eat up less of your bandwidth. Not a resource-intensive process on AS400 per se, but if you're sending everything to your SIEM or SYSLOG server, you might get a call from this group every now and then asking what's going on. So, first selection criteria would be the users. We can send by a specific user or a group of users, or maybe emit by one of the two. Maybe you want to emit for maybe a high availability user that's creating a lot of audit logs in the Q Audit Journal, or another service account, or shared user for different purposes that you don't want to send. You can use that option. For my demo, I'm going to be using a select group. I have different groups over here set up on the system, and I have one specifically for a SIEM. So only those user events will get sent. Next selection criteria would be your action group. We have the generic standard group, so you can choose a specific action group from Q Audit Journal. Maybe you only want to send just security events. Then you can, if that's adequate, then you can choose that option. If you want to choose multiple groups, then you might want to choose the custom group, possibly. Here you have a lot of default templates to choose from, and they have predefined, pre-filtered event types or action types to choose from as part of the group. If you want to remove any of these, you can. Perhaps commands, just for show you how easy it is to edit these. Put it back. If you want to add additional ones, you just go through here and find one that's not included in here and hit add, and it gets added to the group. That's how simple it is. Okay, so once you have this defined, you'll hit select and OK. Then it adds it to the filter. I'm going to show you the last option here, which would be the detailed custom group. By default, this is all blank. So none of these are here. You have to create your own. It's pretty simple to do. For this one, I created one called Splunk and gave it a name. Which one? Oh, it already exists. It's the same process as before, but you can see we not only have the action types to choose from, we also have the actions, specific actions within the action types. Then I can be very granular and choose specifically which ones you want to send. get them included in this group. That's how you build them. I already have this one created. I'm going to hit select and OK, and it gets added to the filter. If one of these two aren't adequate enough and you need to be a little more specific, we have the ability to use Boolean logic. You can write your own SQL statement here using advanced, or you can use our query wizard here and define your criteria here. Maybe you don't want any events that have that are created by QSys. You can add some more if you'd like. Multiple criteria, that's perfectly fine. And then it gets added to this list. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the defining your policies for what's going to be sent there. The last step would be to change this to active and hit apply, and then you're done. Now, the last step in this process will be to determine how often these logs are going to get sent. You can choose from a controlled batch execution, which uses the IBM job scheduler. Pretty quick and simple to set up. Add a job schedule entry. Define how often. And close, and that would be how that would be done. However, most companies use a real-time monitor job. And this is pretty simple and straightforward. We have a start and a stop. That's all we have for options in here other than the statistics and trace reports. The change settings, this is just for next time or last registered event. I suggest using last registered event. In the event of a system failure or a maintenance window or some sort of communication issue, the last registered event option will put a marker on the last successful log that got sent, and when services resume, it'll pick up where it left off and the logs are missing on your SIEM or SYSLOG server. Okay. And that, in a nutshell, is how you set this up. That concludes this session. The next session will explain all the different types of AS400 event log sources that can be sent and why they're important. Please contact us with any questions to start a POC on your own system. Thank you for your time.